his case encouraged him to call off the dogs, is the extent to which now 9 months later, all of them have totally abandoned that position, which is to say Mike Pence coming out and saying it was just another day in January. The media is obsessed with it. He was the one on that day who prevented the overturning of the election. If it's Kevin McCarthy, his spokesman was on TV last night saying, yeah, okay, fine, Joe Biden won the election, but, caveat, caveat, caveat. Chuck Grassley in Iowa on stage with Donald Trump a couple of nights ago. So on that day, when they were watching cops have their heads bashed in with American flags, they may have said the right things. But in the 9 months in, to a man and a woman, all of them have abandoned any criticism and now coalesced around Donald Trump. And the idea that the lie, I should say, that the 2020 election was a fraud, that it turned out incorrectly, that somehow votes were changed. All the lies they're now on board with.
It really is. It's just so disgusting. It shows such an extraordinary lack of political character and really a deep, deep misunderstanding of what patriotism is about. That you have people like you talk about Lindsey Graham. Saying, going on the floor, shaken, saying he was done with Donald Trump, and then going out golfing and saying there's no future in the Republican Party without Donald Trump. Kevin McCarthy on the House floor saying that Donald Trump shared great responsibility for this, yelling to Donald Trump on the phone that it's his people pushing back. And then about a week or so later, going down to Mar-a-Lago to lick Donald Trump's boots,
abandoning our
and
country.
take picture. Yeah, abandoning our Constitution, certainly. Abandoning the constitutional promise of a peaceful transition. And of course, you have Nikki Haley, who said we need to stop following Donald Trump. We probably should have never followed him at all in the first place. And now, of course, she, too, because of 2024, is doing everything she can to get back into Donald Trump's good graces. Mika, it's not going to work. And I guess that's the thing that is so disturbing, is that these people are lining up behind a guy who was cheering on rioters, who was cheering on people who actually are the antithesis of law and order, people who are the antithesis of constitutional conservatives, people who were doing their very best to, again, commit sedition against the United States and actually stop the peaceful counting of electoral votes, which, by the way, if you look up conspiracy to commit sedition in the U.S. Code, that's exactly what it says it is. And that's exactly what they were doing. And I'm not exactly sure why these people, all of these people going before the courts that were doing these things, aren't getting the full 20 years in prison for it.
Well, for those that, people who were trying to get to testify, those who were close to President Trump and those who were a part of this and those who actually tried to stop him that day and then to abandon it. And I'll take it right up to Mike Pence, calling it just any day in January. I do not understand how you can love and regard our Constitution as our core values and leave this day behind. I don't understand it. It's an abandonment of something that you're supposed to love, which is the United States of America, our country, and our core values that we're based on.
What about Mike Pence?
I don't think the two go together.
Yeah. What about Mike Pence's children who were with him on January the 6th, whose lives were endangered when people were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," and they had to run out of the back door. And they weren't exactly sure what room to go down to, weren't exactly sure if they could trust the guards who were with him at the time, because he didn't know if they were more loyal to Donald Trump or more loyal to the Constitution of the United States. And they had to hide while his family, his wife and kids, heard, "Hang Mike Pence."
They had to run out the room with the nuclear code, Joe. It's not to be dramatic.
Their lives were in danger, Mika, and he's saying now, because he's so desperate to just grab a little bit more power, he's calling that day any other day in January.
It's just our whole country is in danger if we let this go by. I think it's confusing for them to try and have it both ways. Let's bring in New York Times reporter and MSNBC national security analyst Michael Schmidt. Michael, from what we're learning, again, I go back to accountability. Will we hear from the people close to the president and somehow get a sense of who is accountable for the attack on our country that day?